Hello everyone, my name is Jason Anderson and I'd like to walk you through a few of the steps in creating an e-commerce website using React Hooks, the AirBNB linter, as well as Firebase for your database functions, storage of images of the products that you're selling. We're going to go ahead and start by setting up a repository on GitHub. You should already have set up your project on Firebase. So once that's done, then you can start working on your local file system and create your new React app. So go ahead and change into the folder that holds all your projects and install using create React app and then the name of your project. It'll go through all the steps and build your project. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open a new terminal and I'm going to switch into the project that I just created. And because the repository has already been initialized through create React app, we can just click here, copy this line of code, paste it. We can git push add our username and our password. Alright, so we've done the first step, and that's to create our GitHub repository. So our next step will be adding Firebase to the project. And for that, we will go ahead and type in Firebase init. So for this step, they give you the option to add the database, Firestore, functions, hosting, and storage. What I like to do is only do functions and hosting. So we'll select both those. We will be using Firestore and we will be using storage, but we don't need to be adding those for now. And we will hit enter. We will say use an existing project and we will choose the project we just created. I'm going to write my functions in JavaScript. I know a lot of people are moving to TypeScript, and maybe in the future I'll go over how to do that. Do we want to use ESLint to catch probable bugs? We'll say yes. And do we want to install dependencies? Yes. So we'll go ahead and set up and install our dependencies. While we're doing that, I will go ahead and open a new my IDE. So here's our project. So we'll just go ahead and do npm start. Alright everybody, so we'll go ahead and set up hosting as well. As you can see, I stopped right here previously. So what do you want to use as your public directory? The default is public, and I chose public. I will be going back and changing that to build, because that is the folder that holds your website once React builds it. Configure as a single page app. Rewrite all URLs to /index.html. Because we are using React, we'll want to say yes here. And then it says file public /index.html already exists. Overwrite, you want to say no. The default is yes, but you want to make sure you say no. If you say yes, it screws everything up, screws your React app up. To go ahead and say no there, and then we'll jump back into our Visual Studio, and we'll look at Firebase RC as well as firebase.json. So we have functions on pre-deploy, we run the linter. For hosting, our public domain is public, but we want that to be build, like I just said. So we'll change that to be build. For hosting, we want to ignore firebase.json. We want to ignore any dot files and all node module files. For rewrites, we want our source to be this and our destination to be this. This is what sets us up as a single page app. This allows us to use React Router DOM. What we have now, what I like to do is make sure everything gets set up correctly. So I will go ahead and go into my package.json file, and in here is where we are going to want to add our development dependencies. For this, I like to add all my ESLint configurations. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that from a different project and add it here. So we have AirBNB, plugin import, JSX ally, React hooks, and React. So we've got that set up. So we are going to want to go ahead, and from here on out I will be using the integrated terminal in Visual Studio, just because it's easy for me. We'll save this and we'll do npm install. So I'm going to add some scripts from a different project into here. Just copy and paste that right there. So what happens here is in our build we want to generate source map equals false. That way if someone goes in and inspects our project, they won't be able to see our React code. If you go into a project that doesn't have this, you can hit inspect and you can kind of mess around in there until you see the exact code from the project. Pre-deploy, we want to do npm run build, and then once we deploy it, we want to do Firebase deploy only hosting. To test it, React scripts test, that's the same, ejects the same, and then when we want to deploy functions, we want to change into the functions directory and go npm run deploy, and I'll show you what that does once we look into our package.json file for our functions. So our engines node, that means that we run node 8, dependencies, Firebase admin, Firebase functions, and dev dependencies. This is where we have our ES linters already in there, and then we want private to be true. So there's really not a whole lot that we do here to change things. Alright, so up here eslint.json. This is quite a lengthy list, but we will keep all of the rules that were originally in the Firebase folder. So we'll go like that, and then like that. So now we will go ahead and remove that and hit save. Alright, so this sets up our AirBNB linter. It extends AirBNB base, and it does it on ES6 and Node. Actually reduce the tabbing on these to make our code look a little better. Alright, we'll save that. So this sets up your eslint file. It's an eslint rc.json file. Alright, now we want to set up our eslint file in our project directory here. What I'll go ahead and do is I have very specific things that I like in my eslinter, and things I like to remove because it makes it a little easier for me. And what I use is an eslint.js file. So we'll go new file, .eslint.rc.js. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this from another project I have, and then I'll go over each of the items with you. So our parser, Babel, eslint, our browser, we're going to be in browser, so that will be true. We'll be using ES6. We'll be using JSX. So this is important because we don't have this in our functions ESLint file. That means we can't use JSX in our functions there. So, and here are a few rules I like to use. You'll find that sometimes rules may need to be adjusted to suit your coding style and what you like to do when you make your React app. This concludes our first video in the series showing you how to create a React application using React Hooks, Firebase, and AirBNB's linter. Please like and subscribe to be informed when the next video is uploaded. If you have any questions on what was detailed on today's video, please add a comment below. In our next video, we will start coding the front end of our website. Thanks again for watching.